I know this is going to be confronting for a lot of people, so this is my only invitation now to get out of the video if you don't want to hear the truth. If you do stay, watch the whole video and make your own opinion. For the past couple months, I've done my own research, and this is what I've found out. Are you ready? Kim Jong-un. In 2017, North Korea tested out an intercontinental ballistic missile that had the potential to reach Washington. It was a large success. Immediately after this, the US sanctioned North Korea and Kim Jong-un for their potentially deadly and threatening tests. But this was just a distraction for what was really going on. Did you know that since 2015, under Kim Jong-un's dictatorship, North Korea has been developing viruses for the sake of creating bioweapons? They knew that they could never threaten the US and their trillion-dollar defense system, so the only way to threaten the world would be to create an untraceable and deadly virus. November 2019. After years of research and development into coronaviruses, their plan was well underway to place the blame onto the Chinese, who also threatened their world leadership due to their ever-growing superpower. Knowing that there was a level 4 virus research lab in Wuhan, they deployed their bioweapon into the wet markets, which had also previously been known to create these viruses in the past. The virus quickly spread to what it is today, further endangering people with technologies such as 5G, which target your immune system and your respiratory system using radiation waves which alter your DNA. 5G, which was also developed by North Korea around the same time in 2015 and was quickly sold off to Huawei and Ericsson. After the US found out about the deadly plot, an assassination attempt was made on Kim Jong-un's life by Donald Trump, which was a failure. Kim quickly went into hiding and then used its closed-off media to pacify its citizens and the rest of the world. You see, Donald Trump didn't want the world to know that such a simple method of warfare could be deployed on the world. What was previously a good relationship between the two was quickly crushed when Kim deployed his bioweapon. You see, his intention was to shut down the Western economy and its reliance on Chinese manufacturing and vice versa. It was an attempt to put the nail in the coffin between the West and China and start an economic war between the two, which would allow North Korea to rise in power. Their plan was simple: shut down the democratic system in the West and cause dictatorships to rise all around the world. This would then lead the public to idolize North Korea and its clean and perfect looking system. But trouble arose when multiple sources found out that the virus was man-made. Their plan failed. But you see, not because of this, but because Bill Gates and the New World Order found out about their plans all the way back in 2015. It gave the idea that Bill Gates could show that he predicted this would happen, and that no one believed him. It would make him an idol and prophet in many people's eyes, because then he could easily create a vaccine that could harm birth rates and lower the world population to a more manageable 500,000 people, which was predicted by the Georgia Guidestones, which was in fact created by Bill Gates and the Bilderberg elite. And if that didn't work, they could still implement implanted microchips to everyone in the world so they can track and trace everyone and their whereabouts at any given time. The downtime in isolation also allowed the NWO to raise 5G towers, which are ready to be turned on for their true potential. Either kill people or control people by using radio waves to target your pineal gland. Shut down the economy, control the people, and the biggest truth of them all, that I made this all up. Brad and Jen, pregnant with twins. This magazine is now 4 months old. Women's Day dropped this garbage in February 2020, stating that Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were pregnant with twins. You know why they say that? Because of this picture. Jennifer is holding up the peace sign while laying in the limo because she doesn't want to crease her dress. But Women's Day wants you to believe that she's showing a sign that she's pregnant because she's holding up 2 fingers. 1, 2, But those close to her suspect the innocent snap had hidden meaning. confirming rumors she's pregnant with twins. You would think people close to her would know what's going on in her life. It's also fueled by a picture of her that has a little bump on her belly. You know, those things that everyone over 7% body fat has? And of course, the chemistry between the two, and that they're holding hands, and that she was wearing white, which she had previously done so in the past. As stupid as this is, it's ingrained in the truth that Brad and Jen were once famously married. Jen has the tiniest bump on her belly. She wore a white dress, which she had done so in the past with Brad. Brad Pitt is arguably the most famous actor in the world, and Jennifer Aniston is the 5th highest paid actress in the world, as well as being one of the most recognizable and famous as well. Creating a rumor isn't hard. Here's the key to a good rumor. Seed it with a truth, or a coincidence of 2 or more truths. Make it an answer to a confusing or unknown situation. Make it dramatically interesting to pique interest. And for bonus points, make it something that, although has already been disproven, won't be challenged. Either because it's too stupid, or because the people who it's about will never hear about it to refute it. I made that story up in 10 minutes with a bunch of truth and lies. Kim Jong-un was reportedly sick, and he was reported to have died. Saying someone was assassinated when they died is the creme de la creme of conspiracy theories. North Korea has also been known to test ballistic missiles. 5G is being rolled out by Huawei and Ericsson. Donald Trump and Kim have a relationship of sorts. Bill Gates is probably the biggest philanthropist in the world, and he's been known to donate to vaccine development. And the biggest truth of them all is that this pandemic is a very confusing and unknown situation. We have never gone through such a life-altering and confusing time since World War II. The whole world had to change in a matter of weeks. Yes, it's confusing. Yes, it's upsetting. People are losing their jobs. People are getting sick, and people are dying. Yes, it's a confusing and upsetting time, but we need to slow down and assess the situation.
Good evening. A controversial rap artist who led a troubled existence has lost his fight for life.
Gangster rap singer Tupac Shakur died tonight in a Las Vegas hospital.
Tupac Shakur died on Friday the 13th of September 1996 after 7 days in the hospital following a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. 2 months later, under the alias Machiavelli, the album called Illuminati, The 7-Day Theory, was released. Niccolò Machiavelli was an Italian philosopher who was famous to apparently fake his death at the age of 25 and return at the age of 43. He said you could fake your death to escape your enemies, something that Tupac had plenty of. Tupac's age of death? 25. Illuminati The 7-Day Theory wasn't released under the name Tupac. It was released under the name Machiavelli. Tupac was shot 5 times in 1994 after a burglary attempt. He was also shot 5 times in 1996, which led to his death. Apart from Tupac being arguably the greatest rapper of all time, he became even more famous after the idea circulated that he had faked his death. On the surface, there was so much to say and show for it. Multiple posthumous albums, multiple coincidences, and multiple predictions and strong relevance of his lyrics even today. It was so easy for me to get sucked into this idea that my idol was still alive. And that was the first conspiracy that I subscribed to. I started listening to Tupac after he died, but I still felt a strong connection to this young man that he was. I idolized and looked up to his intelligence, his talent, and his ability to speak, as well as his personality. He just seemed so ahead of his time, and he was a down-to-earth, compassionate, caring person with a strong exterior. As a young boy, there were a lot of reasons for me to look up to this person. However, there was so much excitement that came with this idea that he was still alive. He was shot and then 7 days later he died? It was so strange. And on Friday the 13th he died? And he was releasing an album called Illuminati The 7-Day Theory, where on the album cover, he was portrayed as Jesus on the cross. And he changed his name to Machiavelli. I remember hearing his lyrics and thinking, there's a clue. There's a clue. I heard a rumor I died, murdered in cold blood, traumatized. Pictures of me in my final states, you know mama cried. But that was fiction, some coward got the story twisted. Like I no longer existed, mysteriously missing. I got shot 5 times, but I'm still breathing. I woke up 50 enemies plotting my death. All 50 seen visions of me shot in the chest. God forgive me cause it's wrong, cause I plan to die. Rest in peace to my motherfucker Biggie Smalls. He was killed a year after Tupac. It was exciting. It was like he left me a puzzle for me to figure out. And me and a community of like-minded people would look into this stuff and find coincidences that matched up. You know, there was even miscommunication about his death. Like, some people said that he was airlifted by helicopter. Some people say that he was driven. He was apparently cremated before they could conduct an autopsy. But then there's a picture of his autopsy. There were rumors that he was leaving Death Row Records and that his manager Suge Knight placed the hit on him. And there was rumors that he was told not to wear a vest that night, which he had regularly done apparently. And that his regular bodyguards were told to have the night off. There was so much information there to look at, so much to analyze. There were so many coincidences. I was obsessed. It was fun. And I felt smart. And most importantly, it made me feel like this guy that I looked up to was still around. Maybe one day I could meet him. You know, maybe one day I could shake his hand or thank him for the music that I grew up with. Maybe even one day we could be friends. Yes, I was very young, but I also felt a part of something. I felt like I and others had cracked the code. And so we waited. We waited for his 30th birthday. He's coming back, he's coming back. He didn't come back. We waited for his 10 years. He's coming back. He, of course, didn't come back. At the age of 43, would he come back? Of course he didn't. His mother's passed away and it's been a long time since any music has been released. He's gone. And it took time to prove it. He'll be 50 next year. Well, he would have been. Trust me, I understand. It's easy to get excited about something mysterious. It's also so easy to fail to see the truth when we don't want to accept it. Although conspiracies can be fun, the real reason that they're manufactured is because they bring us comfort in times of anxiety and stress. Of course, you know, there are people who make things up just to see how far they go, but most conspiracies are just people speculating on things, trying to find answers in the wrong places. When people find something that makes more sense to them, maybe it's more comforting, they latch onto it like it's factual. There doesn't have to be evidence for it, there just has to be something that seems like it's evidence. And then when being presented with evidence, they just shrug it off like it's fake or manufactured. Or you're a shill who's being paid for by the elite. We're in the money. We're in the money. But as humans, look, we're not perfect and we always try to find answers in the wrong places. Our faith in things is a pacifier for things we can never get answers for. Like death. I think it's important for any conspiracy theorist who's watching this video to take a step back and assess your own biases and fears. Remain aware of your own reactions to things that you see and hear, and try to understand why you gravitate towards those certain views. It's easy to get into denial and it's easy to lie to yourself, so you have to constantly tell yourself to stop being in denial and stop lying to yourself. Because what you're really doing is one or two things. Making up and following an unsupported and potentially dangerous fact, and abusing those who don't believe it's real. I completely support discussing ideas and opinions, but I don't believe in supporting things that are undeniably false. And your defense for everything can't be, you're a sheep. Because let me tell you something loud and clear. You're the fucking sheep. You regurgitate other people's opinions and theories. You are what you claim others to be. Because what you do is blindly believe stupid and fake memes and pseudo-professionals.
Sometimes you can get so paranoid from ganja that it's got to thinking the whole world is watching ya.
Man, how lucky we are to live in Australia. A country that has less deaths from COVID-19 in the whole year than a state like New York has in one day. If you're unfortunate enough to have ever had it, or know someone who's had it, or know someone who's died from it, then you know how real it is. To even think that Australia is a good representation of how bad it is across the world is completely inaccurate. And the sentiment that the government is in on it. Which government? All of them? All 195 sovereign states? On top of that, do you really think that the government of Belize or Burundi is in on the conspiracy? And to my point before on how lucky we are to live in Australia, with a government that is giving us money when we're not working, or even if we do have a job, they're paying for us to keep our jobs. Do you think that's really happening in most other countries? I don't think people realize that making something fake with this many people in on it is impossible. Some people even think it was prophesized in the Bible. A man-made scripture. There's no point arguing this one. It's not refuted because it's fucking stupid. I give this conspiracy a 2 out of 10. Do you think that COVID was created to make a cashless society? Just for Australia or the whole world? Try go to Japan and buy anything without cash and see how far that gets you. People are so consumed with the tiny little world that they live in that they don't realize that there's this massive world around them that doesn't revolve around them. Most of the Western world was already moving to a cashless society anyway, regardless of COVID. Then you have these people jumping on it like, oh, I figured it out. COVID is doing it. No, don't worry that people are buying more things online now, including their groceries. Disregard that cash is annoying to carry around, like cards in your wallet. No, don't worry that we have more convenient methods of carrying our currency and our government IDs and our loyalty cards that doesn't get bigger every time we contribute more to it. It's COVID that's doing this. I mean, what's the problem with being cashless anyway? To make myself clear, it will never happen for one. But carrying cash personally pisses me off. Cash can be counterfeit as well. The Reserve Bank of Australia literally just spent time and money recreating and redesigning every Australian banknote. Are they in on the coronavirus thing as well? Let's just think about this for a second, right? You have $100,000 in savings. Where's that money? It's in the bank, right? Do you really think that's all cash? Like they keep it in the back in a vault? Like in the movies? When you buy something like a car or a house, do you take out thousands of dollars out of the bank or do you write a bank check? What's that bank check? Is it cash or is it currency? Money is plastic or paper in other countries. Like digital currency, it's a representation of the currency that you have, like digits in a bank account. And then you see all these same motherfuckers buying cryptocurrency because the government is going to take all their money. That really went well, didn't it? Buying a bunch of Bitcoin and Imperium and Dogecoin. Couldn't see that tragedy coming a mile away. A currency that next to no one uses and people are only buying and not spending suddenly isn't worth the amount that you thought it would be? This one is probably the worst conspiracy. I give this one digital currency out of 10. This one is great. The irony of the statement. People say, I don't watch the mainstream media because I'm too smart for that. Well, they don't say that, but that's what they're insinuating, right? Every post, this is what the mainstream media won't report on. If you don't watch it, how the fuck do you know what they report on? Mainstream media is just a means to an end. Unfortunately, yes, it's biased. That's the nature of a world that needs to run on money. Should it be different? Of course. But it's also not hard to read or watch the news and deduce what is a biased story or sentiment. Because I'm not an overly neurotic idiot, when I watch or read the news, I take what I need from it and then push the agenda aside. And look, if it's really that important, I'll get the information from multiple sources. But Chris, they lie about the facts, man. Numbers and statistics are difficult to lie about. Easy to frame differently, yes. Easy to hide additional information and the bigger picture, yes. But not easy to lie about. And look, if the news is that important, you'd hear the information from everywhere. Most news in normal times is average day-to-day reporting. Great journalism is difficult to find in the mainstream media. I agree. But the internet is a big fucking place and there's great specialized content all over the place. But in saying that, you do want to find something with a proven track record. Truthseekersmedia.ru is not going to be a fucking reputable source. I mean, the brain that you have to support these jackasses who spread false news and make everything a conspiracy and fearmonger, and is obviously biased in the bullshit they're trying to tell you, to then turn around and say that the mainstream media is fearmongering and fake news, is fucking ludicrous. The mainstream media is like the Teletubbies compared to these conspiracy websites and social media sites that spread this stuff. The mainstream media thing has been played out for years now. So I give this a twin pregnancy out of 10. Oh, this is my favorite one. When people get two completely unrelated things and make them related. Oh, just gets my... I don't know. Hey, you seem a little bit down today. Yeah, rough night. It was a full moon. Okay, and what happened to make you feel so down today? I told you. The full moon. You know what? I get it. Technology is scary. It moves at such a fast pace. There are new things coming out all the time. I get it. But what you're doing is trying to stifle innovation. What is this combustion engine automobile you speak of? Sounds dangerous to me. I'll stick to my far superior horse and cart to transport my goods, thank you very much. But we see this shit every time something new comes out. We saw it with 3G. We saw it with 4G, and we're going to see it with 6G. And this is a very important point. Just because you don't understand something doesn't make it dangerous. But you know what? I've had a lot of fun with this one, so I'm going to give this one a 7G out of 10G. Man, poor Bill. Dude's been donating his wealth for years now, even since I was little. And now he's been targeted by the insane clown posse. It's probably safe to say that Bill Gates has done more good for this world than anyone watching this video has. But I mean, let's just think about this for a second, right? This dude has been the richest person in the world for years now. Why would he be doing this? For more money? For power? Because he's evil and just wants to watch the world burn? But you know what? Let's just say fuck Bill Gates, because that's not even the problem that I have with this one. It's this bullshit vaccines are dangerous sentiment that stemmed from this one article that came out a couple years ago that was universally canned about autism and vaccines that has been a headache on the health community ever since. We're moving backwards right now. The world is moving backwards. Let's throw out vaccines and GMOs and universal healthcare. Here's a wacky idea. Stick to the profession that you know about and stop talking about things you know nothing about. Should we know what's in a vaccine and have a small breakdown of what the ingredients are and what their uses are? Sure, fantastic idea, right? But I really don't think it's enough for these people. Again, people don't understand the complexity of these chemicals. You know, something like hand sanitizer, you can put it on your hands, but you shouldn't drink it. The way that it reacts to outside your body than what it does to inside your body is completely different. Chemicals can change based on their environment. If a vaccine didn't contain deadly chemicals, would you take it? I doubt it, because somehow community health well-being is somehow taking away people's basic rights. Or wearing a mask is somehow taking away people's basic rights.
I don't wear a mask for the same reason I don't wear underwear. Things gotta breathe.
Hi everyone, I work for Costco and I'm asking this member to put on a mask because that is our company policy. So either wear the mask
And I'm not doing it because I woke up in a free country.
Well, good. I mean, I'm glad you guys think it's okay to like infringe on people's rights here. Well, you guys can get a lawsuit.
Let's just stop trying to eliminate this virus because people think that they're having their basic human rights taken away. Are your rights being taken away when you drive the speed limit? Are your rights being violated when you have to wear closed-toe shoes at a bar? Or if you're told to be quiet during a movie? No, of course it's not. You're an You're a self-centered 3 deadly chemicals out of 10. I wouldn't put this one in the conspiracy bucket simply because professionals said that it's a plausible idea. And that's who I listen to. But I'm bringing this one up for a very specific point. You're probably asking yourself, so what do you believe, Chris? Do you believe this virus was made in a lab? Here's what I believe. I believe that what I believe doesn't mean jack shit. Do I believe that it could have been made in a lab? Yes. Do I believe that it could have happened naturally? Yes. Do I believe any of the conspiracy theories that I've mentioned? No. But guess what? What I believe doesn't mean anything. Me believing or you believing in a theory, because let's get this straight. What you have is a theory. Us believing in any sort of theory doesn't make it real. And another thing, you might have a feeling that something is strange or something fake is going on. I just have this feeling that this is a sinister plot by the elite. Let's clear this up now. That's bullshit. You're not the fucking Oracle from the Matrix. You're a person with a smartphone and too much time on your hands.
Look at this, they got a 5G tower up now. Shameful. Hey Marco, you feeling alright?
Yeah, fine, but what?
You don't look so good.